All right, turning the recording on, and I would like to say a fabulous, warm welcome to the final Live at Lunch that's here. We've been doing, it's the 35th Live at Lunch, and we're going out on an absolute high note because it's Camilla's birthday, and Camilla is my guest presenter today from Creative Voice Studio. And we've got the cake on the screen because it's her birthday. Not only is it Camilla's birthday, but it's also her daughter Olivia's birthday. And I reckon that's a tough gig, being a mum with a kid on a birthday. So it's really nice to celebrate with you today. And not only is she, organising the daughter's birthday, got the Stedford that she's going to dive into straight after this, where Olivia's performing. Have I got the right title, the Stedford?
That's right. That's it.
But also she's presenting here at Live at Lunch as my wonderful final guest. So welcome, and I'm going to hand over to the birthday girl who's going to share some fantastic insights on a few things.
Wonderful. Well, thank you, Viv. And I feel very, very privileged to be here on your last Live at Lunch. So my name is Camilla. I run a business called the Creative Voice Studio. My background is I used to do the Stedford circuit, etc., when I was younger. So musical theatre, speech and drama, the good old CWA halls. I grew up Corindi, so Liverpool Plains, country New South Wales. And I have been a teacher as well, primary school teacher, majoring in speech, drama and music for the last 25 years. And specifically, I got to a stage in my own personal development where I totally gave up music and singing, because it was all about performance, and it was all about this whole perfection and having to get to a certain level. And I was doing the piano and I was singing, and I just basically had a breakdown or a breakthrough, whatever you like to say. And so in my late teens, I just stopped and I just went, no, I'm not doing it anymore, because I realised I wasn't doing it for myself. It was for everybody else. And I was thinking, well, what's the point of that? And then I had about 10 years and I lived overseas during that time teaching. And because they wanted to hear Australian songs, I started, just singing again in the classroom, and realised how much I missed it, and just the joy that it gave the children and adults, and experiencing the basics of singing and why we sing. So I've done this huge flip about singing, because I've gone through it. So I know all the practicalities, I know all the tips and techniques from having learnt it myself and having studied it. And I now want to share that with everybody, because everybody can sing. And I'm not talking about up on the concert stage and, with a whole backing band, etc. But I'm talking more about freeing your creative expression and bringing out your creative voice within. So the fact that I have now focused on this way, it's just exploding. I mean, I've got so many adults. I've just started a masterclass in Dubbo here. And I just have 5 participants over 5 weeks. A lot of them were told they couldn't sing. They were in a choir at school and they were told by the conductor to mute, or, they've had all these negative experiences and just cut off from that part of their lives. And it just makes me so sad, because singing is natural. I was saying before we went live that we sang before we could speak, because I've been looking now at the origins of singing, and the fact that we would listen to our natural soundscape of the birds and everything, and we'd mimic. And even, we know how music affects our lives with regards to rehabilitation and children with special needs. And I've had my own experience of working in the speech and drama area and public speaking with children that have stutters and things like that. And I always bring in singing, because it's a different part of the brain. It helps them to connect the whole neural pathways, if you want to talk about, neurology of the brain. And the more that I'm delving into it, I'm just thinking everybody who wants to sing should be able to sing and should have a space to do that. So today I thought I would just look at being a birthday or two. I thought, well, what's the origin of the birthday song? So I did look at Wikipedia, and then I backed it up, because you always have to look, as I say with my debating team, you almost always look and see who's putting on information on Wikipedia. But happy birthday to you actually came from another song that two American ladies, there's a bit of a dispute whether they created the melody for Happy Birthday to You, but there was a song in the late 19th century, and it was called Good Morning to All. And it's basically the same tune. Now, hopefully you should be able to hear me. Can you hear me all right?
Yes, I can.
Oh, that's wonderful. Nobody has to sing back to me at the moment, unless they want to. And another thing too, Jenny, you were talking about, getting online and the camera and the microphone. My mother actually joined me for one of my online. I've just started doing free online introductory singing lessons and sessions. And for my mother, it's so foreign to her, this being, virtual. So she got on, and eventually I showed her how to mute it and everything, so she could do it within the privacy of her own home. Didn't have to be seen, didn't have to be heard, but could participate. Yes. So that's the way I look at it. Nobody is forced to do anything they don't want to do, because my whole point is I'm not trying to make you feel more uncomfortable. This is about you having your time. So if you want to, turn off the camera, turn off the microphone, do so, and just sing in your own time. But if you want to sing along with me as well, feel free. And we'll see, Viv, if it ends up being like a round. We end up doing a round where half start going, da-da-da-da-da. Yeah. So anyway.
Yeah. And as I mentioned before we turned on the recording, there's a challenge of when you're live online that we don't synchronise. Everyone's got a different timing for the internet. We're all living in the bush and in a rural community, or somewhere. And so the timing could be completely ridiculous. And we've had some fun in the past trying to sing together with some other people, and it was hilarious. It was tummy aching hilarious. So we could mime, as in sing really, but have the camera on, look like we're miming.
Well, I think the main thing is that today's not about being in a choir. Today is not about anybody else hearing you. It's just you taking half an hour. It's me time. So if you want to sing along, great. If you don't, you don't have to. So I'm really taking the focus off the performance, and actually what we can hear as a group. And it's, hello, Pauline. Can see you there. And it's more about you just feeling free to express yourself.
Fabulous.
So anyway, back to the origins of Happy Birthday. So I thought this was gorgeous. Apparently, in the late 19th century, I'm looking here, Patty and Mildred Hill from the US introduced the song Good Morning to All to Patty's kindergarten class in Kentucky. And I've got a copy of it here, and it's so gorgeous. It goes, good morning to all, to be sung standing. So I won't be standing because I've got my little keyboard here. So if we listen, it's very similar to Happy Birthday to You. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. Good morning, dear children. Good morning to you. And then, okay, thank you. But it's not about performance, remember? All I'm doing is sharing. So Patty and Mildred thought this was great. And then they published it in 1893 in this whole thing for kindergarten children. And it was called Song Stories for Kindergarten. But there's a dispute, you see, a copyright dispute, whether they actually created it. But they did put it in their book. Then it went from good morning to all, to happy greetings to all, to good night to you all, to happy new year to you all. So that's what I love about these songs. All these tunes can be you just change the lyrics. And then it became happy birthday to you. So we now have happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday, dear children, happy birthday to you. And so happy birthday to you became the most well-known song in the English-speaking world, followed up closely by, what do you think? Does anyone want to have a guess what they think the second most popular, or type it in if you're that way inclined? I'm going to have a look at the chat. I'll give you a tip, a hint. You're close.
So, yeah, I've put in 2, but I thought a Christmas song, well, there's lots of Christmas songs, so it probably wouldn't be a lead one. So then I changed Ben. What's everyone else thinking? Oh, yes.
She's sorry, I had to leave for a minute. I had someone at the door, but I'm back, so right. Sorry I missed it.
We're just talking about the most popular recognised song in the English language is Happy Birthday to You, followed closely by thank you, Pauline, for he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow, and so say all of us. So they were totally separate songs, and people have put them together. And then they say it was the Canadians that started doing Are You One, Are You Two, and actually counting how old are you. So, yeah, so they'd sing Happy Birthday, and then it might be it's your birthday, and we want to say many happy returns of the day. And then Are You One, Are You Two, which my children were doing this morning, and I cut them off when we got to about 40. Not that I mind, but I said, let's sing about Olivia, because as I said, my daughter's 12 today. Getting up to 12 was easy. So I thought that was gorgeous. So I think the fact is that it's intrinsic to all of us to sing, but we don't practice this skill. And it's no different than exercising any other muscle. So if you're wanting to rediscover your voice or discover it for the first time, it really is a matter of doing little tips and having tools and activities that strengthen your voice. So literally, we can do active singing while you are sitting. So if you're all sitting, just take a moment to put your feet flat on the floor. Your shoulders up, shoulders back, shoulders down, so you are comfortable. And that also is opening up the diaphragm, which that band of muscle inside that is protecting the lungs and your rib cage, and is just allowing that breath to come. So just take a few moments to breathe really in through your nose and really get it all out. Because I think when you sing, you're transporting yourself into another space in time. And so just breathing in again, in through your nose, and really breathing it all out. Also, I get people to shake a little bit, and when they're shaking, you can even do it while you're sitting. You're shaking your arms and you're making a sound as you shake. If you don't want to be heard, you can just mute yourself, but you're going to have to listen to me, because I'm just going to be just doing my shaking, loosening. Because as soon as you start to tense up, you're constricting everything, and you're not letting it happen. And that's what I actually like about me not being in the room with you, because you can feel that you can just be yourself. So if you want to put your video upwards, whatever, so that you are comfortable with just letting yourself really relax. I also look at, your jaw. I use all the yoga techniques that I have learnt from my wonderful teachers over the years for stretching. All that sort of thing makes a difference, because you're preparing yourself to sing, and you really want to get, I love doing this one, getting all the gunk out of your chest, and vocalizing too. And you just let your breath go until it naturally goes out. Now, there are different sounds that we focus on. I just want to focus on 3 today. The first one is the sound. Now, I've got a very big mouth. I've been told that. So don't feel you've got to do it as big as me. But the ah sound is like you're about to bite into an apple. So ah, ah, ah. Your tongue is down. Ah. And you're biting into the apple and everything is lifted. Ah. So if I start with the middle C and we go ah. And you just do it until your breath naturally runs out. Okay? So we'll do it again. Ah. Beautiful. Even though I can't hear anything, it doesn't matter because it's about you. So let's simply do a little copy and repeat. Ah, with that ah biting into the apple. And ah. Beautiful. Fantastic. Now we've got the E sound. E is like like you're laughing. Because another thing with when you're learning to get your pitch and your sound in is by keeping yourself upright without hurting and being uncomfortable and smiling, it naturally keeps you in tune. So if we start with E and we do the same and E again, E. Beautiful. So we've got R, we've got E. I'll just do oo and then we will move on to a song. The oo sound is like hoo, hoo, hoo. So really make that sound to yourself. Hoo, hoo, hoo. And feel it coming up from your chest. Hoo, hoo, hoo. Okay. So we'll do the oo sound. So it's the same. So it's like ooh. Your turn. Now also, please tell me if there's a sound delay or whatever and you're feeling like it's a bit rushed, anything like that, just pop it in the chat box because that's helpful for me with regards to how I space. Okay, thanks, Kim. Great. So how I space in between me singing and you singing. So that's always a little bit of a challenge with your bandwidth and everything. So please let me know. Now, I always like to start with Do, a deer from The Sound of Music. I know what no, but it'll be back the front. I was going to say if I was more organised, I'd have the words. But I'm assuming most people know Do, a deer, a female deer. Ray, a drop of golden sun. I don't know whether you know that it came from a distinct theory called solfege, where each note is given a name like do, and it's also given a sign that you use with your hands. So do is referring to middle C. Re is D. Mi is E. Do, re, mi, fa is F. So G. La is A. T, that's B. Do. So it's just that octave. So when they created that song, it actually was teaching everybody about how you pitch. And with children, it's wonderful to actually, when you're teaching them to pitch, to have symbols that go with it, because it actually helps your neural pathways to really take on board what notes you are learning. But for today, let's just sing the song. So I actually want to sing it without any music. So I thought if I just click my hands like this, and then I will sing the song first, and we'll go line by line and repeat. Do, a deer, a female deer. Do, a deer, a female deer. Ray, a drop of golden sun. Ray, a drop of golden sun. Me, a name I call myself. Me, a name I call myself. Far, a long, long way to run. Far, a long, long way to run. So, a needle pulling thread. So, a needle pulling thread. Love, a note to follow. So, love, a note to follow. So, now really take a breath. Tea, a drink with German bread. Tea, a drink with German bread. That will bring us back to dough. That will bring us back to dough. Wonderful. Now, Pauline, I just saw what you said. Is it okay to be singing an octave lower, especially when the notes get high? Absolutely. An octave lower is very low, though, so it's down like that. Do, a deer, a female deer. But also, what I do is I transpose, which means you take it down. So, we started off singing do, but we can sing do, a deer, and just take it down that little bit. So what I do for the participants in my masterclass is I actually record that do, a deer in the key that suits them. So some of you will find that you have a lower, what we call a chest voice. So we're down like this and going down very low. So that's actually an octave down from middle C. Some are more soprano. I used to be more soprano, and I now find my voice breaks. So I'll go starting on middle C. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, re, mi. Sorry, I apologize, because I really have to warm up my high register to get to higher notes. And I can't reach the notes I used to when I was 12 and 13. I used to be like, oh. Now I'm more down like this, like an alto. So you're all going to have your own ranges of voices, and I think that's where it's helpful to talk about what songs suit you. But also you can exercise your voice to extend your don't read me. To extend your voice beyond like to go a little bit higher and a little bit lower. I like to exercise it. Remember, it's just like learning tennis. You've just got to use that muscle. Well, thanks, Kim. So you're alto. Why don't we do it again all together, because you all know it now. And I'll transpose it down a little bit, and let's see if everyone prefers that or not. It doesn't really matter. So, do, we're going to start on do, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, do, a deer, a female deer, ray, a drop of golden sun, me, a name I call myself, far, a long, long way to run, so, a needle pulling thread, la, a note to follow, so, tea, a drink with jam and bread, that will bring us back to do. And then at the end, remember how they go? Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, so, do. Yes. Thank you. Well done. Excellent. Now, how was that for people? Because I actually took it down a semitone or a tone and a half, which it doesn't matter what that means, but I'm just wondering if that felt more comfortable or if people like the original. So again, this is very much a movable thing that we do. And I don't worry too much about your breathe. I could do either. That the original was easier. Great. Okay. Thank you. In your first session, when I'm introducing people to it, I keep it very simple. I do sort of talk a lot about the techniques and things, but excuse me, the main thing is that you're just starting to sing. And then as the weeks go on, I'll start talking about breathing, phrasing, but that it becomes a natural progression. because I think it's important too. We don't get hung up on all the technicals. Now, does anyone have any questions for me while I just take a moment to have a
drink? Wet your whistle. Yes. So,
yes. Viv, please, just while I wet my whistle.
That was just so much fun. What did people think? It was amazing to have the sound. Yeah, like hearing you and singing along. Doesn't look like anyone's in a McDonald's restaurant beaming in, so that was probably
I'm at work, so it was funny because I've got the headphones in. I can't hear my own voice, but someone must have heard out there because they come in to check on me.
I hope they came in to say, hey, you're sounding happy.
That's fun.
But it's so interesting. I think we're all self-conscious. I mean, even I'm self-conscious when I'm singing at home, and because I live in town, and the neighbours will go, oh, I heard you practicing. And even I still go, oh, God. But then I think, but I'm just rehearsing. It's not a performance, but you automatically have this, oh, gosh, what are they thinking, blah, blah, blah. And that's why I'm loving this intimacy of you finding a space where you can do this and you can really just let go for that half an hour. It's about you, and it's about you enjoying yourself. I know I'm talking a lot this session, but I also wanted you need to feel comfortable with me, because it's a relationship, whether it's over the Zoom or whether it's person to person. You have to trust the person that you are working with, because singing is a very personal thing, and it's also a very emotional thing. And I know with people I've worked with before, it's brought out lots of different emotions. Is there, oh yes, thank you. Nice segue into a Capture Your Creative weekend that we're running at the end of July.
The last weekend in July. Camilla is going to be joining myself. We've got Kim Deans, who's a photographer. He's going to teach us photographic tips. We're going to be singing all weekend. We're going to be photographing amazing sites in the Pilliga Pottery, which is just the most amazing place. We're going to be making handmade soaps and creams with Linda Coffee, and then making a cup in pottery, which will get to us at the end. So that's an amazing weekend if you're thinking of it, getting away at the end of July. And we've only got 12 spaces left, so it's starting to, gain some traction. Yes, there's always lots of things, a jamboree meeting, Kim, but look, this is out for the recording too. But I just can't wait. I don't consider myself a singer, but I know I'm going to have a lot of fun doing this. I've had fun online, so it's going to be awesome in person.
Absolutely. So really, look, that's just a bit of a taste tester for you all. I do run free online singing. I've just started doing that with the Rural Woman.
Okay. So I think I can get the link for that.
Yeah, I'm still learning the tech. So for me, as someone who very much deals one-on-one with people and groups and choirs, this has been a real challenge for me to go online and to do the tech, because I can see you there, but I can't gauge your body language. Whereas if you're in the room with me, I can gauge your body language, and it's taken me a while. Like, this has been a good 2 years in the process, and Viv's been a huge help with just getting me outside my comfort zone and saying, well, how is this any different from you doing a lesson in your room? And I'm like, yes, but you've got to do the tech, and what if the tech doesn't work, and blah, blah, blah. So a big thank you, Viv, for getting me outside my comfort zone.
It's all right, and it's so fabulous that you're here with us, and that's what's great about this sort of technology, is it allows us to connect. It's certainly not the same as face-to-face, but it certainly allows us to connect. And from here we are, we've got people from Young, Balranald, Coonabarabran, Dubbo, forgetting your place, Kim, Gay's in Sydney. What's your beautiful place? Because I've been to Kim's place. The town. It's on the coast and it's gorgeous. Laurieton. Thank you. Cat Eye for Gay. So isn't that amazing that we can do that and sing together? That was a lot of fun. So I'm going to wrap this up and say thank you, Camilla. Camilla's off to see her daughter Olivia, whose birthday it also is, in an Eisteddfod. So happy birthday.
Oh, look, it has just been wonderful. Thank you all so much. And I really do appreciate you taking the time and doing something for you. And that's what I'm loving about doing this. To me, this is not work, because I so enjoy sharing with people, you know, what I've learned along the way, and also giving you an opportunity just to have half an hour for me time and just explore and create. And it's not about the end product too. It's not about the trophies and nobody gets a participation certificate in this. No, because it's not about that. It's just about
the joy.
bringing out your creative voice. So, anyway.
Fabulous. Bravo. Thanks everyone for your engagement and singing along. Terrific. And I will share this. And thank you so much for joining me for the final Live at Lunch. It's been 35 wonderful events over the year. It's been a lot of fun, and there will certainly be more, but just not in the format of Thursday at midday. There'll be some other configuration. So thanks
Viv.
to a very special, awesome last guest.
I came in on the late end of it, didn't I?
Yeah, that's okay. They're all recorded and they're actually on my website. So vivianevans.com.au, and it's under live events, and there's podcast recordings. So lots of techies, big mixture. We've had different innovative guests, so you can scan through. I must admit, I haven't put the last two up. I've been naughty. I've got to get those up. So there was one on Canva, and so a real mixture. Okay.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Fabulous day. Farewell, and thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. I'll be singing in the car, Camilla.
Well, I was going to say, do it in your car. Just keep singing instead of just keep swimming.
That's it. Glad you all enjoyed it.
Go and find a song, everyone, and have a sing.
Yeah.
Good day.
Terrific.
Okay.
Cheers. Bye.
I'm still going.